Hi, Amanda. How are you doing?
Just chilling. How are you doing?
One of these times you're not going to say the just chilling. You're not going to get me
Well,
to say it. I was walking in the neighborhood the other day. Now, granted, it was my neighborhood. It was a bunch of old people. It wasn't like on a college campus like you. And I almost said just chilling. And I stopped myself. My wife looked at me and asked me if I was okay. And I said no. And we just kept walking. That's how that
that's so
works.
funny.
You're not going to get me to say it. So today I'm kind of excited. Big episode. Probably the episode where we got the most feedback of what people wanted to hear about. Can you guess what it
Oh,
is?
everybody wants to know the ins and outs of this. How to cheat it, how to,
Get more money.
yep.
That's all right. That's all right. But you know what? What's nice is we're going to talk about financial aid today. We've got a newer employee to SVSU, someone who I met in the fall and was really excited. He's been very helpful with some of my students, and just I thought he'd be the perfect person. Let's bring him in and talk to him and ask some of those big questions about financial aid. So are you ready to meet Michael?
Yep, I guess so.
All right, let's get him in here. Let's see how it's going. Michael, how are you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
Good. Thanks for joining us today. I've got Amanda here.
Hello, Amanda.
What's up?
Hey.
So we were just talking and we were saying, okay, we started this podcast about a month and a half ago, and I would say at least weekly, I get a comment or a question or a parent reaching out saying, listen, all this is good information, but we really want to hear about financial aid. So no pressure, but you are like the number one guest we've gotten so far.
It's the usual. Yeah, that's the usual question.
That's all right. That's good. We're excited to have you. So could you, before we begin, could you just kind of give us a little background about yourself, what you do at SVSU?
Oh, yeah, no problem. Yeah, I've been with SVSU now for 7 months. So I'm kind of new here, but all in all, about a little over 7 years in financial aid. I worked at 2 other institutions before here, doing both processing of financial aid and also working one-on-one with students and parents, helping them, to be able to pay for their education. So
Very cool. Lots of experience. Bless you, because I've been in admissions for 16 years, and financial aid still, I mean, after 16 years, you think I would know it front and back. I probably, and Michael will attest to this, Amanda, you ready? I probably come over to your office, once, twice a week with a real doozy?
Probably.
Yeah.
That's probably an understatement, probably.
Yeah. And now that we're all working from home during the pandemic, we're on speed dial on Teams. It's okay. It's good.
Yes.
I appreciate all your help.
Everybody. Yeah, everybody's constant contacting, which is great.
Awesome. Well, I think Amanda's going to start out for us, and I think why don't you shoot with your question, Amanda?
Okay, so this is actually a big question I have personally. Am I qualified for financial aid, or are there just like specific people who qualify for it?
Gotcha. Yeah, so basically financial aid, federal financial aid is available to any person that is a U.S. citizen or a eligible non-citizen. And what that means is if you're on a student visa or you're on a work visa and you're here for a temporary stay, then you can receive federal aid funds to help supplement your education.
Okay.
Very cool. When I talk to students, they're always kind of confused about the term financial aid. So let's take a little bigger step. When we say financial aid, I know that it includes scholarships, right, from the university. And we've got 3 different types. I always talk about academic scholarships, athletic scholarships. I never got one of those. And private scholarships, that's scholarship money that's given to the foundation. And then the university then returns it to incoming freshmen or returning students. What are the other types of financial aid that our students can receive?
Gotcha. Yeah, so most of the time people think of financial aid of, like you said, just the scholarships and grants. And going out there and looking at different private scholarships that institutions, community foundations are always a good avenue. I always tell people. Your banks, actually your credit unions as well, are good ones out there. But it doesn't only incorporate that. There's also federal aid. And what that federal aid is your Pell Grant, which is given to any individual that has, that's filled out a FAFSA, and also along with student loans. Now, a lot of times people think student loans, well, that's a loan. No, it's an actual federal aid. It was money that's loaned to you to pay back after you've, completed your degree. So that's also federal aid as well, and it's part of financial aid.
So those are the different types of financial aid. What is the how does a student even start? Where do they even begin? You and I was teasing Amanda earlier. I'm going to make her say it a little later. I know there's a form out there, but I'm going to get your professional opinion. What is the form? How do students begin the whole financial aid process?
Okay, so what I always tell students, the first thing you need to fill out is a FAFSA. Okay, and that is FAFSA. I know sometimes people pronounce it. Yeah, exactly. But it stands for Free Application for Federal Student Aid. Okay, and you can just Google it, type in FAFSA, boom, it'll come up, and it's absolutely free for you to fill out. And it's an application basically that looks at your household size and looks at the income inside the house to incorporate all that's there to estimate what you would be paying towards your education. And then from that gives us a need of what financial aid is to supplement what you aren't able to afford to pay for your education.
Nice. So how often do students need to apply for this FAFSA?
Once a year, every year. Yep. And they can actually, as soon as
Get on
October
that.
1st. So every year, October 1st, bam, it happens for the next year. So we're actually, right now, it's always funny for everybody else, but our minds are, for financial aid right now, we're not only finishing up the previous year and working on the year that we're coming into this fall for students, but we're also, as soon as October 1st happens, we're 2 years ahead. So we're not only working on the 2 years that we're working on, but we're also working on a third year as soon as October 1st happens. So as soon as October 1st happens, I always tell students, go out there, fill it out. Like I said, it's absolutely free. I know sometimes students will ask the question of, well, I paid somebody to do it. Well, you don't have to. And you can just go ahead and work on that application yourself and just go through it slowly, listen, just read all the way through the questions, and it will help you with answering those questions.
Okay. I have a question about that too. What happens if you just don't fill it out or you forget? Like, are you going to just be kicked out of school? Like, what's going to happen?
No, you are still eligible for other scholarships and grants out there. It's only for federal aid that you have to fill out that application. Now, some of our state aid, like TIP, Michigan Competitive Scholarship, and all those different scholarships that are state aid, also require a FAFSA. Now, some private scholarships also will require a FAFSA, just because they want to know the need that is needed for the financial, money that they're going to be providing for you. So that's why they require that or ask you to fill that out.
Okay.
So,
Yeah,
but yes, you can still get other, there are even private loans, student loans out there that you can get that will pay for your education that you don't have to fill out a FAFSA.
I'd tell you this, Amanda, though, from all of my experience, as a student, when October rolls around, treat it like your taxes. You got to do it right away. Even if you don't plan on taking out the federal student loans, you never know what's going to pop up. I know that for incoming freshmen, we, as part of our academic scholarships, one of the stipulations is we encourage them to apply for FAFSA in October and have that on file. It doesn't mean that they need to take any of that financial aid, but as a academic scholarship winner, it'd be nice to get even more money right?
Right.
So,
It's always
so
nice
we
to have
know
more money.
Yeah.
Right.
So we put that stipulation because we'll have a lot of academic scholarship winners that will just say, oh, well, I'm getting, half my tuition taken care of. I can just pay the rest out of pocket. That's how I'm going to do it. Well, they don't know what else might be out there, right?
Right.
They might qualify for something, and I'm setting you up here, Michael, sorry, but
No,
we got to talk about the SVOG, the Saginaw Valley Opportunity Grant. So one of the questions that always comes up, we talk about these scholarships and who should fill out FAFSA. I encourage all freshmen to fill out FAFSA because they never know what might be out there. One of my favorites is the SVOG grant, Saginaw Valley Opportunity Grant.
Right.
Michael, could you tell us a little bit about that for incoming freshmen?
Right. So it's up to, for all incoming, like you said, incoming freshmen, they have up to, for those that live on campus, you have up to $6,000 you can receive. And then those that are off campus, up to $5,000 that you can receive. Now that's coupled with any other scholarships that you get. So that's the cap. So a lot of times people are like, well, I got this other grant for, $2,000 or $3,000, scholarship. Well, that's coupled with that. So you can have up to that $6,000 or that $5,000 cap together.
Yeah,
but I use money you don't have to pay back, and it's not money it's just us as an institution that gives to say, here, we're going to help you out as you start out and as you're starting out with us. So
I tell you, I have a lot of my students who are Cardinal or university scholarship winners. So they'll get $2,000 or $3,000, and that's exciting. That's a lot of money to get.
Oh yeah.
Then they don't know, and they fill out. We make them fill out FAFSA in order to receive the scholarship, and all of a sudden that $2,000 or $3,000 gets bumped up to $6,000 with this SVOG grant, and I think it's something that a lot of students don't know that they can qualify for. One big question, I'm gonna let Amanda ask the college work study, because I always make her work and do those things. So I'm gonna wait on that one a second. But I got to ask, how does a prospective student find their financial aid award letter? Where does it come?
Okay, so it comes through your student portal. Once you log in and you get yourself set up with the student portal, it's through your self-serve. So through there, it will list out all your different aid that you've received. It will also have showing you what your actual need is. So we'll show you what your actual cost of attendance is. So when I say cost of attendance is how much we estimate what your cost will be for attending with us. So that's your tuition, that's your books, that's your transportation to and from, from home to the college if you're off, living expenses and all that. That's all kind of summed up into that cost of attendance. So that is on there. So it shows you that, plus it shows you what you will receive in federal aid, both loans, Pell Grant, your scholarships and everything. And then once you see that, then you can see, okay, well, I've gotten this scholarship, I've gotten this scholarship, but I still have like $2,000 of that estimated cost that I need to still kind of work out with. On top of that, I've kind of mentioned too, we kind of mentioned before about the FAFSA. Now, one of the things that the FAFSA is going to give you when you fill that out, it's going to help you even more, because what it's going to do is it's going to give you what's called the EFC, an estimated cost of estimated family contribution. Like I mentioned before, filling out the FAFSA with both filling out the income and the household size, it basically comes up with an equation and tells you how much it believes you and your family will be paying towards your education. So what I always tell students is they'll get a number, let's say $1,000, 1,000 is that EFC. I always tell students that's what the federal government says you're going to contribute your education. Okay. So I always tell students that gives you a number to go out and get scholarships and grants for, because that's the number on top of your loans and your Pell Grant that they're going to expect you to pay. So you need to go out there and find out wherever you can get it, private scholarships or whatever, to help cover that cost. So both that EFC and your student aid award for not only our institution but any other institution, they'll show you that, so that way you know where to cover that cost, those gaps.
That's awesome. Amanda, I hope that in the video when we edit this, we catch your face on that, because I have heard that 100 times, and I know how hard it is to follow all of that. So watching you kind of like look through. That made me happy. Okay. Here's the point, and here's the thing that I try to impress on all of our incoming freshmen, and Michael's a great example of this. You are not going to be an expert in financial aid.
Nope.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Don't.
You
can read.
Exactly.
You can read everything.
I always tell people basically that's the thing I love about financial aid is it's like running on a treadmill. As soon as you stop or you think you're comfortable, somebody adjusts the speed or moves things. There's all these different regulations and stuff, and things move. So we have to constantly be learning, have to be constantly moving through. So when students say, I'm confused, I'm like, join the club. And I've worked here for 6 years, so I understand completely. So I always tell students, do not be afraid to ask questions. Ask as many as you can. There's always, I don't know how many just today. I'm so sorry I'm bugging you. You're not bugging me. Believe me, it's not easy to figure and follow through. So please keep asking those questions.
I have a question.
Okay.
Sorry, Nick. I didn't mean to cut you off, but
no, I let me get one more point in. Okay.
Okay.
That is the most important thing I think out of all this podcast is there's a lot of stuff in there, and like Michael said, just ask the question. It's in our nature, SVSU's nature, to be helpful. So you have people like Michael who are out there figuring it out, who are smarter than me. Okay. And they're the people that I go to see. They're the people that I go to see when the question comes up. So it's okay to be confused. It's okay to have the question. Ask. We're going to find the answer for you. We're going to make it right somehow. So I'll get off that soapbox. That was my big thing.
No, that's the thing. And that's what I always tell students, when filling out the FAFSA is kind of a cookie cutter thing,
Mm-hmm.
So it's trying to collect information of people's information that's kind of like a cookie cutter, like, okay, everybody fits in this box. Well, not everybody fits in that box. So then when you don't fit in that box, people start asking questions like, well, how do I answer this? Because,
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't fit within my diagraphic. So.
Cool. All right. Sorry, Amanda, I cut you off. Go for it.
Okay.
I know you got a good question.
So the college work study, how does that work?
Okay. So the federal work study program is an actual program that was set up to basically create a learning experience for your education. So while you're attending college, what it was to implement was to kind of give that idea of I'm going to work while I go to college and learn about my field or learn about fields to get some, your fingers out there in the workforce as you're attending education. So while you're getting your education, you're already starting to get some work experience under your belt while you're attending. Now, federal work study is that's where a lot of times students get confused. Is they're like, well, I'm a work study. What does that mean? Well, you're a work study. That means you're getting financial aid. So to be a work study, you have to fill out your FAFSA. So that also incorporates as financial aid. So when you are a federal work study student, we sit down and say, okay, when we award you and you receive your award, letter, work study is going to be on there because it's going to say, okay, this is the income that you're receiving while you're attending this institution and getting work experience. So you're getting like the Pell Grant and the loans, but you're also receiving federal work study. So you're getting paid to learn, basically. And so there's a bunch of different rules and regulations, which I won't cover, but there's things that to get paid. And then once you get paid, that goes towards your education. So that goes towards that award letter.
So there's a big word. There's a big word in there, work. I always warn students, if you look at work study and you have it on your award letter, that's great. Take advantage of it. Let's find a job on campus. We have a lot of them, but you're not getting that money until you do something.
Correct.
Work.
Yeah.
So let's not count on that on the bill right up front. So
and that's the thing about it is too, Nick, I'm glad you pointed that out because that's one of the things I always tell students too. I don't know where there's been a disconnect in the last few years with this is, even parents are like, well, I want my kids to focus on education, which is great. That's great. You focus on your classes. But once you get this degree, you need that experience your degree is only going to get you to qualify for the job. It's not going to get you the job. Work experience is going to get you the job. So it's part of that education that you need. It's not just your classroom education, it's the real life education that you need. And so this, again, in financial aid is not to pay for your college, it's to supplement your income, to supplement your income to pay for your college. And that's where a lot of times students are like, well, this is, I thought this was supposed to be for free. Well, no, it doesn't work that way.
Right.
It does, ask you to put a little skin in the game. So.
And you're totally setting us up for our next episode. Hint, hint. We're going to be talking to the career services folks here pretty soon on how to find work study and some of their services. So
good.
You're a natural. You didn't even know that, and you're setting us up for the next one.
Good.
Well, I think we've covered a lot here. We've gone pretty in depth on some questions. I think I just want to recap kind of some of the things that you've said and kind of tie a bow on all of this for our students. I think number one, what I heard you say is October is really important. We have to fill out FAFSA in October,
Yep.
Get it started, get it ready. Amanda, hint, hint. Let's get on it, and we can get FAFSA completed, and that will start our whole financial aid process. Number two, the award letter for incoming students. Once you're admitted and once we have your FAFSA, that award letter starts rolling sometime in December and throughout the rest of the semester for students. And whenever they're admitted, they can get that, and they find that on their portal, which you talked about. And then I think last but definitely not least, the most important thing is the stuff is confusing and it's tough. It's okay. But that's why we have smart guys like you that are here to help and talk to the students. And it's okay to ask a question. And I think that will definitely help students get through this. Sound like a pretty good summary, you guys?
Yes, that sounds like a great summary. Yeah, just to realize that we have an excellent team here at SVSU, and like Nic said, the questions, the team's great. They will answer any of the questions you have and try to get you there. So please ask away.
Awesome. So I didn't warn you about this. Mm-hmm. We always finish each episode with an irreverent question. Nic's irreverent question of the day.
Okay.
Day. I'm doing my own sound effects.
Yeah.
So at the beginning, Amanda, or should I call her Carol Baskin, made me watch Tiger King.
No.
Careful.
Why?
It's scary.
It's so good.
You would. I got to ask, because Michael and I come from a similar background. I got to ask, the weather's finally changing. We're finally going to get outside a little bit, hopefully. You got a young family. I've got a young family. My question to you is, give me your favorite activity and why it's your favorite activity to do outside with your child, because my kids are driving me crazy and I got to find something for them to do.
Right. Mine is biking.
Bike?
Yeah. Yep. I bike. I'm a triathlete. I love doing triathlons.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And so he's my little coach, because I have a little cart that pulls behind. My wife got it for me. It pulls behind on my bike. So he all the time, bike. He wants to ride in that little cart. So, and then of course he'll yell at me if we're not going fast enough. He's faster, daddy. So yeah, he keeps me motivated and keeps me on track. So
that's good. You know what? I like that. My wife for Mother's Day, we got her a bike helmet because she wanted to get out and do some more biking. And I said, okay, I have a feeling I'm going to get a matching one here soon. Yeah. So you guys can picture. Don't laugh, Amanda. It's
get some happens. Elbow pad.
Hey, not a bad idea. I'm just saying I'm accident prone. Well, Michael, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. If there's a question out there, don't worry. The students will reach out to us and I will get them to you.
All right. That works.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. And take care of yourself.
You too. Thank you.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.
So, confused? Are you confused yet?
Yep.
So, and that's okay. I think that is the most important thing of this whole episode. There's one last thing that I want to make sure students know. We talked really specifically about financial aid, but we didn't get into cost. So one thing, if you're a student or parent out there and you want to know what the cost is, get an idea of your financial aid, we created a new cost calculator. We've always had a cost calculator. We're just making it easier to find for students. So if you go to svsu.edu/cost quiz on that, then you can actually go in. It's really nice because you can type in information. It'll estimate your EFC for you and then show you based on your test scores you think you're going to get or your GPA, all sorts of the financial aid and what the real cost is for you coming in as a freshman. So I think that's going to be important. And once you get that, then you realize, okay, this is real. I got to start working with people like Michael, get my FAFSA taken care of, right?
Yeah, FAFSA is confusing.
Yeah, it's all right. It's good. You, as long as you ask questions, you'll be all set. All right, Carol Baskin, I got to go get a bike helmet now. And I have one of those things he was talking about, the little trailer, but I've got a 5-year-old and a 1-year-old. So I don't know if I'm going to fit both of them in it. We'll see. I probably should put helmets on them too, knowing how I drive.
Some elbow pads, some knee pads.
Stop it. I want you to get outside too, okay?
We'll see.
We'll see. All right, Carol Baskin. Amanda, take care of yourself. Wash your hands.
Yep, you too.
All right, we'll talk to you later.
See ya.